Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch is one of my absolute favorite video games ever made. It does almost everything perfectly, and the things that it doesn't is still masterfully done. Even people that aren't into specifically what is going on in the game could still find some enjoyment because there's so much creativity put into almost every aspect. Well, it's almost a decade later, and we finally have a sequel that has been long awaited. Now, I don't know about you, but I very quietly lost my shit when this was first announced, but this just kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. Then, eventually, as more and more information was revealed about it, I was admittedly getting concerned because I'd probably quit playing video games forever if this was bad. If we talk about the storyline aspect of the entire game now, the first game has an amazing storyline. It's unpredictable at some points, and just has so much of the Studio Ghibli charm for us anyway that works so incredibly well, combined with some great world building, just makes for an absolute blasting experience just due to the storytelling. Not only does the story just overall lack in this game, well, so the thing is, well, it's just kind of like, okay, well, we're going to this place until the game is over, but the kind of thing. But thankfully, there are some minor seeds planted in every location that you go to, because that's pretty much the point of the game, tied in with some action and everything. That, well, yes, the story is definitely not bad, and due to some great locations, it is still very consistently interesting. It's just nowhere near on par as the first game's writing, which it was amazing, and I think would kind of hard to make a sequel out of. And I mean, like, yeah, it also set a few hundred years after the events of the first game, which kind of sucks because as soon as this was announced, I'm like, oh, I can't wait for the part where Oliver shows up as a badass wizard and, like, does shit. Another thing that the original game captured were some great characters with some very clear motivation and great development. Well, here, yeah, we definitely have some great characters with, I think that they're all very well designed with some good traits and all, but, I mean, like, they don't really do anything, and the connections between one each other are only referenced, like, once or twice throughout the entirety of the game. They're just trying to forgot, or if they're at the entirety of the game as well. So I don't know, the characters definitely could use some work in multiple aspects. I mean, like, Evan's like, oh, he's got the motivations clear to build a kingdom where everyone's gonna be happy, and you can see that. And then, well, Roland is like the president of the United States like 300 years from now, and yeah, so that's really only referenced like 2 times, once at the beginning, once in the end. And then I guess you could count the Declaration of Independence joke, which I actually thought was pretty clever because, well, there's no existence of America in the world of Kuni. Kani is the daughter of the Sky Pirate Captain Batu, which they don't really do anything in the entirety of the game. And I know that they are very important to the story with the entire Sky Pirates thing, because they actually do affect the build-up to the initial kingdom that you eventually form. Leander is the smart dude, and Bracken is the technology person, and yeah, that's really it. They don't really go through much development the entirety of the game, but I mean, like, they're definitely not bad characters, they're definitely not hateable, and each of them do serve their own individual important figures to the progressiveness of the overall storyline, but honestly, they're just not that interesting in overall comparison to the original game. So the main important part about, well, the game is that, well, the gameplay itself, no, it's pretty drastically different from the original game. Yes, I know it's one of the major changes that they were made, but the original game uses a very unique combat system, mainly relying on combat tactics that would rely on commands that you would use on your familiars, which are kind of like your soul creatures, or to better put it, Pokemon, but with a lot less bad designs. But overall, yes, it's a very intriguing combat system with a very good amount of difficulty, even if Oliver is overpowered in the end. But here, they don't even have that. You know, you figured, okay, this would automatically suck without the familiars. Well, actually, it's a lot more restrictive, but it's also more open at the same time, which I very like. It also limits you to what you could do and what you can't. One of the biggest changes from the entire game series now was the Studio Ghibli's initial departure from not being involved with the sequel. And yeah, that does suck, but that doesn't make the overall graphical look of everything bad, because it still has this nice 2D flair that could have looked like it could have been done by it, because it's a very good looking game as well. I didn't even play it on PS4 Pro, and I was still very graphically impressed in almost every aspect. Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom is a very solid, enjoyable game that captures a lot of the fun aspects of the first game, but doesn't do them all better, but is definitely specifically not as good as the original game, but is still very fun, enjoyable in every way. If you seem interested in this, then you'd probably like it, and if you don't seem interested in this, then don't even bother. I'm Dr. Extender, and I'm signing off.